Can you hear me? Through the roar of the fire, a radio crackled one last time. The voice on the other end was breaking up. Wind, static, panic, then silence. In November 2018, California's Camp Fire became the deadliest wildfire in the state's history. Entire communities were swallowed with terrifying speed. Roads became parking lots. Day turned black. But in those final radio transmissions, another story was unfolding. One measured in seconds, impossible decisions, and a fire moving faster than anyone expected. What do you do when every road out is already burning? The Camp Fire began on November 8, 2018, near Paradise, California. What started as a wildfire quickly became something far worse. Driven by powerful winds and fueled by extremely dry vegetation, the flames raced toward nearby communities. People woke to an orange sky. Ash fell like snow. Emergency crews rushed toward danger as thousands of residents tried to escape. Firefighters, police officers, dispatchers, and ordinary citizens were suddenly caught inside a disaster growing beyond control. At first, there was still hope. There were roads. There were vehicles. There was time. But the fire was moving faster than the evacuation itself. Then the roads began to fail. Thousands of people were trying to leave at once, while emergency vehicles pushed through the same narrow routes in the opposite direction. Traffic stopped. Smoke thickened. Visibility disappeared. The heat became intense enough to make stepping outside dangerous. Radio communications filled with urgent reports. Fires were crossing roads. Buildings were burning. New escape routes were closing almost as quickly as they were discovered. For those trapped inside Paradise, the worst fear was becoming reality. They weren't running from one fire. The fire was surrounding them, and every decision now carried the possibility of leading directly into the flames. The sky turned nearly black. Flames moved through neighborhoods, jumping from house to house. Exploding propane tanks and burning vehicles added to the chaos. Thick smoke made it difficult to breathe, and people abandoned cars when traffic became impossible. Some ran. Some sheltered inside buildings. Others waited in vehicles, praying the fire would pass. For emergency crews, the mission changed from fighting the wildfire to simply finding a way through it. The radio remained their connection to the outside world. Then transmissions became shorter, more urgent. Positions were harder to confirm. And somewhere inside that inferno came the terrifying realization that rescue might not arrive in time. Survival became brutally simple. Find air, find shelter, keep moving. Some responders directed civilians toward open areas where they could escape the worst flames. Others stayed behind, helping people who could no longer move through the traffic. There was no clear path, only choices made with limited information. Smoke burned eyes and lungs. Heat pressed against windows. Embers blew across roads like swarms of glowing insects. Every minute brought another obstacle, another blocked road, another wall of fire. Some vehicles became temporary shelters. Others became traps. And as exhaustion set in, the people still inside had to keep making decisions, because stopping could be just as deadly as moving forward. The Camp Fire devastated Paradise and surrounding communities. 85 people were killed, and tens of thousands were forced to flee. Entire neighborhoods were destroyed. Many survived because strangers helped strangers, because emergency crews stayed in danger, and because people found ways through conditions that seemed impossible. But not everyone made it out. The final radio calls from that disaster remain a reminder of how quickly a familiar place can become unrecognizable. One moment there was a town. The next, there was smoke, fire, and a voice disappearing into static. And sometimes the last thing a person leaves behind is a call that no one can answer.